Hey there, you. Yes, you, scrolling through YouTube, looking for that one story that's gonna sweep you off your feet and keep you glued to the screen. What if I told you that a single, clumsy trip at a college graduation could unravel a fairy tale so wild, so unexpected, that it'd make your jaw drop? Picture this: a young woman, heart pounding, tassel swinging, steps onto the stage to grab her diploma, and then bam, she stumbles, right there in front of everyone. Gasps echo through the crowd, her cheeks burn, and just when she thinks it's all over, she falls, straight into the arms of a stranger. But not just any stranger. A prince. A real, honest-to-goodness prince, with a smile that could melt glacier and a secret that could change her life forever. Sounds like something out of a rom-com, right? But here's the kicker: this isn't just a cute meet cute. That one moment sparks a mystery, a whirlwind of romance, and a question that's gonna haunt you. How does a regular girl from small-town America end up tangled in a royal love story? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna get the answers you came for, and trust me, you won't see them coming. I'm here to take you on a journey that's equal parts heartwarming, shocking, and totally binge-worthy. So let's dive in and figure out how a single trip turned into the adventure of a lifetime. Now, let's get real for a second. You've probably had those moments in life where everything feels like it's going wrong, like the universe is laughing at you. Maybe it was a spilled coffee on your favorite shirt, or a fumble during a big presentation. We've all been there, haven't we? That's why you're gonna connect with our girl, Ellie Harper, a 22-year-old who's just trying to make it through her college graduation without tripping over her own dreams. Ellie's not perfect, she's got messy hair, a laugh that's a little too loud, and a knack for overthinking everything. But she's got this spark, this quiet determination that makes you root for her. She's the kind of person you'd grab a coffee with and swap stories about your most embarrassing moments. And let me tell you, her graduation day? It's the kind of day that starts with a shaky smile and ends with the kind of plot twist that'd make Hollywood jealous. You're here because you want to know how it all went down, and I promise, I'm gonna give you every juicy detail. But here's the deal: you've got to stay with me, because this story isn't just about a fall, it's about what happens when fate decides to throw you a curveball and you catch it with both hands. So, are you in? Good, because I'm talking straight to you, and I need you to hang on tight for this one. Let's set the scene. It's a sunny May afternoon in 2024, and the air is buzzing with that electric mix of nerves and excitement. We're at a small liberal arts college in upstate New York, where the campus is drowning in flowers and proud parents are snapping photos like it's the Oscars. Ellie's been up since dawn, wrestling with her cap and gown, trying to tame her curls, and whispering pep talks to herself in the mirror. She's not the valedictorian, not the class president, just a regular girl who's worked her butt off to get here. Her mom's in the crowd, tearing up already, and her best friend, MIA, is sneaking selfies in the back row. Everything's going according to plan, until it's not. You see, Ellie's got this tiny fear of public humiliation, and walking across that stage feels like stepping into a lion's den. But she's ready. Or at least, she thinks she is. What she doesn't know is that someone else is watching her from the audience, a man who doesn't belong in this small-town scene. He's got sharp cheekbones, a tailored suit, and eyes that seem to hold 1,000 secrets. His name? Prince Alexander of Valderia, a tiny European kingdom you've probably never heard of. And no, he's not here for the free punch and cookies. He's got a reason for being at this random American college, and it's tied to a mystery that's been brewing for years. You're probably wondering, what's a prince doing at a graduation in the middle of nowhere? Don't worry, I'm gonna get to that, but not yet. Let's just say his presence is no accident, and Ellie's about to stumble into something way bigger than a diploma. Now, I know what you're thinking. A prince? Really? Isn't that a little Disney? But here's where it gets good. This isn't your typical fairy tale with glass slippers and talking mice. This is a story about real people, real emotions, and the kind of drama that keeps you up at night. Ellie's not looking for a crown, she's just trying to figure out who she is and what she wants. And Alexander? He's not some perfect knight in shining armor. He's got his own baggage, his own doubts, and a royal family that's breathing down his neck. The chemistry between them? It's messy, it's complicated, and it's so electric you'll feel it through the screen. But there's a catch: their worlds don't mix. She's a girl who grew up on mac and cheese and Friday night football games. He's a guy who's got paparazzi trailing his every move. So how do they even stand a chance? That's the question that's gonna keep you hooked, because every step of this story is packed with twists that'll make you gasp, laugh, and maybe even cry a little. I'm not just telling you a story, I'm inviting you into Ellie's world, where every choice feels like a leap of faith. You're not just watching this, you're living it with her, feeling her heartbeat, her nerves, her hope. And trust me, you're gonna want to know what happens next. Let's talk about why this story matters. You didn't click on this video just for kicks, you're here because you love a good underdog tale, a romance that feels impossible, a mystery that begs to be solved. You're here for the same reason I'm obsessed with telling this story, because it's about what happens when life throws you into the deep end and you have to decide whether to sink or swim. Ellie's trip at graduation isn't just a funny moment, it's a turning point, a spark that sets off a chain reaction of love, secrets, and self-discovery. And you, my friend, are gonna be right there with her, cheering her on, second-guessing every move, and dying to know the truth. What's Alexander hiding? Why was he really at that graduation? And what happens when the world finds out about the girl who tripped into his arms? I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but I will say this, the answers are bigger than you think, and they're gonna hit you right in the feels. This video is your ticket to a story that's trending for a reason, because it's got everything you're searching for: romance, drama, royalty, and a mystery that'll keep you guessing. So, grab your popcorn, get comfy, and let's keep going, because we're just getting started. Here's where I need you to lean in close. That moment when Ellie falls and Alexander catches her. It's not the end of the story, it's the beginning. But there's something else you need to know, something that makes this whole thing even crazier. Right after that catch, when the crowd is still buzzing and Ellie's trying to remember how to breathe, Alexander whispers something to her. Something so quiet, so cryptic, that it sends a shiver down her spine. What did he say? Why did it make her heart race in a way that had nothing to do with embarrassment? And why does it feel like that one whisper is the key to everything? You're gonna have to keep watching to find out, because I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. This is the part where you and I make a pact. You stick with me, and I'll give you a story that's worth every second of your time. Deal? Let's do this, alright, you're still here, and I'm so glad you're sticking with me because things are about to get even wilder. That whisper from Prince Alexander, the one that left Ellie Harper frozen on that graduation stage with her heart hammering like a drum? It's the kind of moment that lingers, the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew. But to understand why that whisper hit her so hard, we need to rewind a bit and dig into who Ellie is, what's been going on in her world, and why fate decided to throw her into the arms of a royal with secrets to spare. You're probably itching to know more about that cryptic moment, and I promise we'll get there. But first, let's peel back the layers of Ellie's life, the friendships, the dreams, the little clues that might explain why she's caught in this whirlwind of romance and mystery. I'm talking straight to you, my friend, because you're not just watching a story, you're unraveling it with me, piecing together a puzzle that's got more twists than a summer blockbuster. So, let's dive into Ellie's world and see what's been brewing before that fateful trip, because trust me, there's more to this small-town girl than meets the eye, and the shadows around her are starting to shift in ways that'll keep you guessing. Ellie Harper grew up in a sleepy little town called Willow Creek, the kind of place where everyone knows your name and the biggest event of the year is the county fair. She's the daughter of a high school teacher and a mechanic, raised on home-cooked meals and stories about chasing dreams despite the odds. By the time she got to college, Ellie was determined to carve out her own path, majoring in journalism because she's got this knack for asking questions and sniffing out the truth. But let's be real, college wasn't all smooth sailing. Ellie's last few months before graduation were a whirlwind of late-night study sessions, part-time shifts at a local coffee shop, and a messy breakup with her high school sweetheart, Jake, who couldn't handle her big dreams of moving to a city and chasing a career. That breakup left her a little raw, a little unsure of herself, but it also lit a fire under her. She threw herself into her final semester, landing an internship at a small online magazine and starting a blog about life, love, and the pursuit of something bigger. Her posts were raw, honest, and started getting some traction, enough that a few strangers online began leaving cryptic comments, things like "you're closer than you think" or "watch your step." Weird, right? Ellie brushed them off as internet trolls, but looking back, Those comments feel like breadcrumbs leading to something bigger. Could someone have been watching her, even before that graduation day? And if so, why? You're probably wondering if those comments have anything to do with Alexander's presence, and I'm not gonna lie, that's a question worth holding on to, because the deeper we go, the more it feels like Ellie's been on someone's radar for a while. Now, let's talk about the people in Ellie's orbit, because no story like this happens in a vacuum. Her best friend, MIA, is a firecracker, loud, loyal, and always ready to drag Ellie out of her comfort zone. Mia's been her rock through the breakup, the internship stress, and the endless graduation prep, but lately, Mia's been acting a little off. She's been vague about her own plans, disappearing for hours with no explanation, and dropping hints about some big opportunity she's not ready to share. Ellie chalks it up to MIA being her usual dramatic self, but there's a nagging feeling that MIA knows something she's not saying. Then there's Professor Callahan, Ellie's journalism mentor, a sharp-witted woman who's been pushing Ellie to dig deeper in her writing. Callahan's been oddly invested in Ellie's blog, encouraging her to chase stories that shake things up. A few weeks before graduation, she gave Ellie a strange piece of advice: sometimes the truth finds you, but you have to be ready to run with it. At the time, it sounded like typical professor wisdom, but now? It's starting to feel like a warning. And let's not forget Jake, the ex-boyfriend, who's been texting Ellie out of the blue, acting all nostalgic and hinting that he's got something important to tell her. He was at the graduation, too, sitting a few rows back, and Ellie swears she caught him staring not at her, but at the stage, like he was waiting for something to happen. Are any of these people connected to Alexander's mysterious appearance? Or are they just red herrings, distracting us from the real truth? That's what makes this story so addictive. You can't trust anyone yet, and every little detail feels like it could crack the case wide open. Let's zoom out for a second and think about why this matters to you, the viewer. You're here because you love a good mystery, the kind that keeps you up at night, replaying every clue in your head. Ellie's story is trending on YouTube for a reason. It's got that perfect mix of romance, suspense, and royal drama that hooks you and doesn't let go. But it's also about something deeper, the idea that your life can change in a split second, that one clumsy moment can lead you somewhere you never imagined. Ellie didn't ask to fall into a prince's arms, just like she didn't ask for those weird blog comments or the strange vibes from the people around her. But now she's in the middle of something huge, and you're right there with her, feeling the tension, the uncertainty, the thrill of not knowing what's next. Think about Alexander for a minute. A prince doesn't just show up at a random college graduation for no reason. Valderia, his tiny kingdom, isn't exactly a household name, but it's got a reputation for secrecy, old money, and a royal family that plays by its own rules. So why was he there? Was he looking for Ellie specifically, or was their meeting a fluke? And what about that whisper? It wasn't just a sweet nothing, it was something deliberate, something that made Ellie's eyes widen and her breath catch. You're probably dying to know what he said, and I get it, but here's the thing. The truth is tied to a secret that stretches beyond that stage, beyond Willow Creek, all the way to a castle across the ocean. And the more we dig, the more it feels like Ellie's been caught in a web she didn't even know existed. Here's where the tension really starts to build. In the days leading up to graduation, Ellie had been working on a final project for her journalism class, a deep dive into hidden histories, stories that get buried because they're too inconvenient. She'd stumbled across an old article about Valderia, something about a scandal involving a royal family member who vanished years ago. It was just a footnote in her research, but she couldn't shake the feeling that it mattered. She even mentioned it to MIA, who laughed it off and changed the subject. But now, with Alexander in the picture, that article feels like a neon sign flashing danger. Could Ellie's research have caught someone's attention? Maybe someone in Valderia who didn't want old secrets dragged into the light. Or is this all a coincidence, and Alexander's presence has nothing to do with her project? There's another piece of the puzzle that's starting to nag at me, the man in the dark suit who was spotted near the graduation venue, lingering by the parking lot, watching the crowd. A few students noticed him, but no one knew who he was. Security? A reporter? Or someone with a much darker agenda? You're probably feeling the same chill I am, because every new detail adds another layer of uncertainty, another reason to keep watching. Ellie's world is starting to feel like a house of cards, And that whisper from Alexander? It's the gust of wind that could bring it all crashing down. What did he say to her? And why does it feel like the answer could change everything? Stick with me, because we're not stopping until we find out. Okay, you're still with me, and I'm pumped because this story is about to take a turn that'll have you gripping the edge of your seat. We left Ellie Harper reeling from that cryptic whisper from Prince Alexander on her graduation day, caught in a moment that felt like the start of something huge, something laced with romance, mystery, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. Now, as she tries to make sense of what's happening, the ground beneath her is starting to shift. You know that feeling when you're piecing together a puzzle, but the pieces keep vanishing or changing shape? That's exactly where Ellie's at, and trust me, you're gonna feel every ounce of her frustration and curiosity as we dive deeper. I'm talking straight to you, my friend, because you're not just watching this unfold, you're right there with Ellie, chasing the truth through a maze of obstacles that seem designed to keep her in the dark. The stakes are climbing, the shadows are growing longer, and every step Ellie takes seems to pull her closer to a secret that someone, somewhere, doesn't want her to uncover. So, let's keep going, because the deeper we get, the more it feels like Ellie's walking a tightrope, and one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Ellie's not the type to sit still, especially when her journalist instincts are screaming that there's a story here. That whisper from Alexander, it wasn't just a line, it was a spark that lit up every question she's been wrestling with. What did he mean? Why her? And what's with that old article about Valderia she found for her journalism project? She decides to start digging, pulling out her laptop the day after graduation to revisit her research. But here's where things get weird. The article she bookmarked, the one about a royal scandal and a missing family member, it's gone. Not just offline, completely wiped, like it never existed. She checks her browser history, her notes, even the library database she used, but it's as if someone reached into the internet and erased it. Ellie's stomach twists, because this isn't just a glitch. Someone's covering their tracks, and it's starting to feel personal. She tries to shrug it off, telling herself she's being paranoid, but then she notices something else. Her blog, the one that's been getting those creepy comments, has a new message. It's short, unsigned, and chilling. Some stories are better left untold. Okay, now she's freaked out. You're probably feeling the same chill running down your spine, because who's watching Ellie close enough to know what she's digging into? And why are they so desperate to stop her? This is the kind of moment that makes you want to yell at the screen, Ellie, be careful, but she's already in too deep, and her curiosity is like a freight train with no brakes. You're here for the drama, the suspense, the trending mystery that's blowing up YouTube searches, and trust me, it's only getting juicier. Let's talk about the people around Ellie, because the obstacles aren't just digital, they're human, and they're complicated. MIA, her best friend, is still acting cagey, and it's starting to grate on Ellie's nerves. A few days after graduation, they meet up at their favorite diner, but Mia's distracted, checking her phone every 5 seconds and dodging questions about her big opportunity. When Ellie mentions the missing article, Mia's face changes, just for a split second, but it's enough to make Ellie wonder. Is MIA hiding something, or is Ellie reading too much into it? Then there's Professor Callahan, who Ellie turns to for advice. Callahan listens quietly as Ellie spills her concerns about the vanished article and the creepy blog comment, but instead of offering her usual encouragement, she leans in close and says, Ellie, you're good at finding the truth, but not every truth is safe. Let this one go. Her voice is calm, but there's an edge to it, like she's speaking from experience. Ellie's thrown, Callahan's always pushed her to chase big stories, so why the sudden warning? It's the kind of moment that makes you question everything, and you can bet Ellie's mind is racing. Was Callahan trying to protect her, or is there something she's not saying? And let's not forget Jake, her ex, who's still lingering like a bad habit. He shows up at her house unannounced, acting all concerned and saying he heard she had a weird day at graduation. How does he even know? Ellie didn't tell him about Alexander or the whisper, so his sudden interest feels off. You're probably starting to see the web tightening around Ellie, and every person in her life seems to have a shadow of doubt trailing behind them. This is what makes this story so addictive. It's not just about a prince, it's about betrayal, secrets, and the kind of suspense that keeps you clicking next video on YouTube. Now, let's throw in a curveball, because no good mystery is complete without a ghost from the past. Ellie's been so focused on the present Alexander, the missing article, the weird vibes from her friends, that she hasn't thought much about her family's history. But while she's rummaging through her old journalism notes, she finds a photo tucked in a notebook. Her mom, younger, standing next to a man Ellie doesn't recognize. He's got sharp features, a confident smile, and something about him feels oddly familiar. On the back, in her mom's handwriting, is a date 25 years ago and a single word, Valderia. Ellie's heart skips a beat. Valderia? The same tiny kingdom Alexander's from? Her mom's never mentioned anything about Europe, let alone some mysterious trip overseas. When Ellie asks her about it, her mom brushes it off, saying it was just a silly vacation and changes the subject. But Ellie's not buying it. Her mom's nervous, her hands fidgeting, and for the first time, Ellie wonders if her family's past is tied to this whole mess. Could her mom know something about Valderia's royal family? Was that trip really just a vacation, or is there a betrayal buried in her family's history that's coming back to haunt her? You're probably as shook as I am, because this is the kind of plot twist that makes YouTube comments explode with theories. Ellie's starting to feel like she's stumbled into a conspiracy, and the more she uncovers, the more it seems like someone's been pulling strings behind the scenes for a long, long time. Here's where the tension cranks up to 11. Ellie decides to take a risk and reach out to a contact she made during her internship, a tech-savvy guy named Ryan who's good at digging up digital footprints. She asks him to look into the missing article and see if he can recover it. Ryan's eager to help, maybe a little too eager, and he promises to get back to her in a day. But then, the next morning, Ellie gets a text from an unknown number. Stop asking questions, or Ryan pays the price. Her blood runs cold. Ryan's not just a random contact, he's someone she trusts, someone who's been in her corner. Now he's in danger because of her. She tries calling him, but his phone goes straight to voicemail. Panic sets in, and Ellie's left staring at her phone, wondering who's behind this and how they even knew she contacted Ryan. Is it someone close to her, like MIA or Jake? Could Callahan be involved, despite her warnings? Or is this coming from Valderia, tied to Alexander and whatever secret he's hiding? You're probably yelling at the screen, desperate for answers, and I get it, this is the kind of cliffhanger that makes you hit subscribe and beg for the next part. Ellie's world is unraveling, and that text is a neon sign that someone's watching her every move. What's the truth behind her mom's photo? Who's threatening Ryan? And what does Alexander know that he's not telling her? Stick with me, because the next twist is gonna blow your mind, and I'm not letting you go until we figure this out together. You're still here, and I'm thrilled because this rollercoaster of a story is about to veer into territory that'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Ellie Harper's world is spiraling, with that chilling text threatening her friend Ryan and the haunting discovery of her mom's old photo tied to Valderia. She's caught in a web of secrets, and every thread she pulls seems to tighten the noose around her. But just when you think you've got a handle on this mystery, a new storyline crashes into the mix, like a plot twist in a trending YouTube thriller that blows up your comment section with what just happened. I'm talking straight to you, my friend, because you're not just watching Ellie's life unravel, you're knee-deep in this conspiracy with her, feeling the same pulse-pounding uncertainty as she scrambles to figure out who's pulling the strings. The stakes are skyrocketing, and now, with a secondary storyline weaving into the chaos, everyone's motives are starting to look shaky. Is Alexander the charming prince he seems, or is he hiding a darker agenda? Are Ellie's friends and family caught in the crossfire, or are they part of the puzzle? Buckle up, because this chapter's gonna throw you for a loop, and by the end, you'll be begging for answers that are just out of reach. Ellie's barely slept since that text about Ryan, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. She's tried calling him a dozen times, but his phone's still off, and her imagination's conjuring images of him in trouble or worse, because she dragged him into her search for the truth. Desperate for some kind of anchor, she heads to the coffee shop where she and MIA used to spend hours dreaming about the future, hoping a familiar place will clear her head. But as she's sitting there, nursing a latte and staring at her mom's Valderia photo, MIA bursts through the door, her face pale and her hands trembling. Ellie's heart lurches. Mia's usually the calm in her storm, but now she looks like she's seen a ghost. Before Ellie can even ask what's wrong, MIA slides into the booth and shoves her phone across the table. On the screen is a message from an unknown number. Tell your friend to back off, or you'll both regret it. Ellie's blood runs cold. The wording's eerily similar to the text she got about Ryan, and the timing's too close to be a coincidence. Someone's targeting the people closest to her, and now Mia's caught in the crosshairs. You're probably feeling the same dread creeping up your spine, because this isn't just about Ellie anymore, it's a warning that ripples through her entire world. Mia's freaking out, demanding to know what Ellie's gotten herself into, but Ellie's just as lost. She tells MIA about the missing article, the blog comments, and the threat against Ryan, but she holds back on the Valderia photo, not sure why she's keeping it secret, maybe because her gut's screaming that trust is a luxury she can't afford right now. Mia's reaction only deepens the unease. Her eyes dart around the coffee shop like she's expecting someone to jump out, and when Ellie presses her about that big opportunity she's been cagey about, MIA snaps, "You don't get to interrogate me when you're the one stirring up trouble." It's a gut punch, and you can feel the fracture in their friendship, the kind of moment that makes you wonder if Mia's just scared or if she's hiding something that could change everything. As if that wasn't enough to keep your heart racing, a new piece of evidence lands in Ellie's lap that flips the script on what she thought she knew. Later that day, still shaken from her fight with MIA, Ellie gets an email from an anonymous sender with a single attachment, a grainy scan of a letter dated 25 years ago, the same year as her mom's Valderia photo. The letter's written in elegant, looping script, addressed to someone named Clara, Ellie's mom's name, and it's signed with just an initial. The content's vague but loaded, talking about a promise we made and a secret we can never share, for the sake of the crown. Ellie's head spins. The crown? Valderia's royal family? Her mom was a small-town teacher who never left the country after that one trip. How could she be tangled up with royalty? The letter contradicts everything Ellie's been told about her mom's past, and it raises a terrifying question. Was her mom's silly vacation actually a cover for something much bigger? Maybe a forbidden romance, a betrayal, or even a deal that's coming back to haunt them now. You're probably as flawed as Ellie, because this is the kind of bombshell that lights up YouTube searches with keywords like royal scandal and hidden secrets. But here's the kicker. The email came with a note that says, "You're asking the right questions, but you're looking in the wrong place." What does that even mean? Is someone trying to help Ellie, or are they leading her into a trap? The letter's a lifeline and a landmine all at once, and Ellie's torn between diving deeper and running for cover. You can feel the tension coiling tighter, the kind of suspense that makes you lean closer to the screen, desperate for the next clue. Let's zoom out and think about what this means for Ellie and for you, the viewer who's hooked on this trending mystery. The threats against Ryan and MIA aren't just random, they're a coordinated effort to scare Ellie off, and they're working. She's starting to question everyone, Mia's sudden defensiveness, Jake's weirdly timed check-ins, Professor Callahan's cryptic warning to let it go. Even her mom, who's always been her rock, is looking less like a bystander and more like a player in a game Ellie didn't know she was playing. And then there's Alexander. That whisper on graduation day, the way his eyes locked onto hers like he knew her, it's starting to feel less like a fairy tale moment and more like a calculated move. Was he really just there by chance, or did he seek Ellie out because of her mom's past? The letter's mention of the crown points straight to Valderia, and Alexander's the most obvious link, but something tells me it's not that simple. What if he's not the mastermind but a pawn in someone else's scheme? You're probably running through the same theories, because this story's got that addictive mix of romance, betrayal, and royal drama that keeps YouTube algorithms buzzing. Ellie's not just chasing a story anymore, she's fighting for her safety, her friends, and the truth about her own family. Every move she makes feels like stepping on a pressure plate, and the introduction of this letter and Mia's threat has raised the stakes to a whole new level. You're not just watching a video, you're living this mystery, feeling the same paranoia and adrenaline as Ellie tries to navigate a world where no one's motives are clear. Here's where things take a sharp left turn into uncharted territory. Ellie, desperate to make sense of the letter, decides to confront her mom again, this time with the photo and the email in hand. She's expecting denial or maybe a tearful confession, but what she gets is something else entirely. Her mom's face goes white when she sees the letter, and for a moment, Ellie thinks she's about to spill everything. But then her mom grabs the letter, stuffs it into her pocket, and says, "This isn't what you think, Ellie. You need to stop before you ruin everything." Before Ellie can argue, her mom's phone buzzes, and she steps outside to take the call, leaving Ellie stunned. Through the window, Ellie sees her mom pacing, her voice low but urgent, and she catches one phrase that sends her heart into overdrive. They know about her. Who's they? And who's her? Is it Ellie, or someone else entirely? Ellie's left standing in her childhood kitchen, the place that's always felt safe, but now it's like the walls are closing in. You're probably screaming at the screen, because this is the kind of unresolved twist that makes you hit like and beg for the next part in the comments. The threats, the letter, her mom's cryptic words, they're all pointing to a truth that's bigger, darker, and more dangerous than Ellie ever imagined. Who's watching her? What's her mom hiding? And how does Alexander fit into this tangled mess? Keep watching, because the next piece of this puzzle is gonna turn everything upside down, and I'm not letting you go until we crack this wide open. Alright, you're still locked in, and I'm so stoked because this story's about to plunge into a darker, more intense chapter that'll have your heart pounding like you're binge-watching the hottest thriller trending on YouTube. Ellie Harper's already neck-deep in a mystery that's spiraling out of control, those chilling threats against her friends Ryan and MIA, the cryptic letter about her mom's past in Valderia, and her mom's overheard phone call about they know about her have left her reeling. That moment in her kitchen, watching her mom's face twist with fear, was a gut punch, but it's nothing compared to what's coming. Something drastic is about to shatter Ellie's world, forcing her to realize she's not just chasing a story, she's running for her life. I'm talking straight to you, because you're right there with her, feeling the same creeping dread, the same questions clawing at your mind. Who's behind this? What do they want? And how much danger is Ellie really in? The stakes are higher than ever, and as Ellie's paranoia takes hold, you're gonna feel the weight of every choice she makes. This isn't just a fairy tale gone wild anymore, it's a full-on nightmare, and the deeper we go, the more it feels like the truth might come at a cost Ellie's not ready to pay. So, let's dive into the darkness, because this twist is gonna hit hard, and you won't want to miss a second. Ellie's barely holding it together after her mom's cryptic words and that overheard phone call. She's back in her childhood bedroom, staring at the ceiling, trying to piece together the puzzle while her thoughts spiral. The letter, the threats, Alexander's whisper, it's all connected. But how? Her mom's refusal to explain the Valderia photo or the letter has cracked something in Ellie, a trust she's always taken for granted. She's starting to feel like she's living in a stranger's life, surrounded by people she thought she knew but who now seem to wear masks. Her phone's been buzzing with notifications, but she's too afraid to check, worried it's another threat or, worse, news about Ryan, who's still unreachable. Unable to sleep, she decides to clear her head with a late-night walk through Willow Creek's quiet streets, the kind of place where nothing ever happens after dark. But as she pulls on her jacket and steps outside, a prickling sensation crawls up her neck, like she's being watched. She brushes it off as nerves, her paranoia's been in overdrive lately, but then she hears it, the soft crunch of footsteps behind her, deliberate and steady. Her heart lurches, and she picks up her pace, glancing over her shoulder. The street's empty, bathed in the dim glow of streetlights, but the shadows between the trees feel alive, shifting just out of sight. You're probably feeling the same tightness in your chest, because this is the kind of moment that makes you want to scream at Ellie to run. She turns a corner, hoping it's just her imagination, but then her phone vibrates with a new message from an unknown number. You can't hide from us. The words hit like a sledgehammer, and Ellie freezes, her breath catching as she realizes this isn't just a game, someone's out there, right now, and they know exactly where she is. The fear crashes over Ellie like a wave, and for the first time, the full weight of the danger sinks in. She's not just digging into a mystery, she's a target. Her mind races, replaying every moment that led her here, the blog comments, the missing article, Alexander's intense gaze on graduation day. Was he trying to warn her, or was he part of this? The thought of him sends a confusing mix of longing and suspicion through her, because even now, she can't shake the memory of his arms catching her, his voice soft but urgent. But there's no time to dwell on that, because the footsteps are back, closer now, and Ellie bolts, her sneakers pounding the pavement as she cuts through an alley toward the main road. Her lungs burn, her thoughts a chaotic jumble of panic and questions. Who's us? Is it Valderia's royal family, protecting whatever secret her mom's tied to? Or is it someone closer, someone she's trusted all along? She thinks of Mia's defensive outburst, Jake's creepy timing, Callahan's warning to back off. Even Ryan, who's vanished without a trace, Feels like a question mark. Did he find something that got him in trouble, or was he never on her side? You're probably as paranoid as Ellie, because this story's got that gripping, edge-of-your-seat vibe that's blowing up YouTube with keywords like stalker mystery and royal conspiracy. Ellie makes it to the brightly lit gas station on the edge of town, gasping for air, but the relief is short-lived. When she checks her phone again, there's another message, a photo of her, taken just minutes ago, standing under a streetlight. Someone was close enough to snap it, and they wanted her to know. Ellie's world feels like it's collapsing, and the emotional toll is crushing. She sinks to the curb outside the gas station, her hands shaking as she stares at the photo. This isn't just about curiosity anymore, it's about survival. She thinks about her mom, who's been dodging her questions but clearly knows more than she's letting on. That phone call, those words they know about her, keep echoing in Ellie's mind, and now she's terrified that her is her. What if her mom's past in Valderia wasn't just a fling or a vacation, but something that marked Ellie, even before she was born? The letter mentioned a promise and a crown, and Ellie's starting to wonder if she's some kind of pawn in a royal game she never signed up for. Her thoughts turn to her dad, who passed away when she was a kid, and for the first time, she questions what she really knows about him. Was he part of this, too? The paranoia's eating her alive, making her doubt every memory, every relationship. She wants to call MIA, but after their fight, she's not sure MIA would even pick up or if she can trust her. The idea that someone she loves could be betraying her is almost worse than the stranger following her. You're feeling the same ache, aren't you? That gut-wrenching mix of fear and betrayal that makes this story so human, so real. Ellie's not a superhero, she's just a girl who tripped into a nightmare, and now she's got to decide whether to keep fighting or run as far as she can. But the darkness isn't done with her yet. As Ellie sits there, trying to steady her breathing, a car pulls into the gas station, its headlights cutting through the night. She squints, her pulse spiking, and then the driver's window rolls down. It's Professor Callahan, of all people, looking as composed as ever but with a tightness around her eyes that wasn't there before. "Get in, Ellie," she says, her voice low. "We need to talk, and it's not safe here." Ellie's frozen, her instincts screaming to run but her desperation for answers pulling her toward the car. Callahan's been her mentor, her guide, but that warning to let it go is ringing in her ears, and now she's showing up in the middle of the night, right after Ellie's been followed. It's too convenient, too suspicious. What does Callahan know, and why is she here now? Is she trying to help, or is she delivering Ellie straight to the people who sent those texts? You're probably yelling at the screen, because this is the kind of twist that makes YouTube comments explode with theories about who can you trust. Ellie's got seconds to decide, her hand hovering over the car door, her mind a battlefield of fear and need. If she gets in, she might finally get answers, or she might be walking into a trap. If she runs, she's alone, with nowhere to hide. What's Callahan's real motive? Who's behind the photo? And what's the truth about Ellie's connection to Valderia that's worth all this danger? Keep watching, because this mystery's only getting darker, and the next move could change everything. Alright, you're still riding this wild wave with me, and I'm beyond pumped because we're about to hit a plot twist that'll flip this entire story on its head, leaving you questioning every single moment we've been through together. Ellie Harper's been running on pure adrenaline, her life unraveling faster than a viral YouTube cliffhanger, with that terrifying chase through Willow Creek's dark streets and Professor Callahan's suspicious late-night appearance at the gas station. She's standing there, hand hovering over the car door, torn between her desperate need for answers and the bone-deep fear that she's walking into a trap. The threats against her friends, the mysterious letter about her mom's Valderia past, and that chilling photo of her taken just minutes ago have pushed her to the edge, her paranoia making every shadow feel like a threat. You're right there with her, heart pounding, trying to figure out who's behind this and what they want. But hold on tight, because what happens next isn't just another layer of the mystery, it's a bombshell that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Ellie, Alexander, and the secrets tying them to a tiny kingdom across the ocean. I'm talking straight to you, my friend, because this is the kind of twist that'll have you gasping, rewinding, and flooding the comments with no way. This isn't just a story anymore, it's a puzzle that's been lying to us all along, and the truth is about to shake Ellie's world to its core. Ellie's breath catches as she stares at Callahan, whose calm demeanor feels like a mask hiding something far more dangerous. Every instinct screams to run, but the weight of not knowing of Ryan's disappearance, Mia's fear, her mom's cryptic words, pulls her toward the car. She slides into the passenger seat, her pulse hammering, expecting Callahan to launch into an explanation about Valderia or the threats. But instead, Callahan locks the doors, glances in the rearview mirror like she's checking for tails, and says something that makes Ellie's blood freeze. "You're not who you think you are, Ellie. And neither is your mother." The words hit like a thunderclap, and Ellie's mind scrambles to process them. What does that even mean? She's about to demand answers when Callahan pulls a small, worn journal from her glove compartment and slides it across the seat. "This belonged to someone who knew your mom in Valderia," she says, her voice low and urgent. "Read it, but don't tell anyone, not MIA, not your mother, not even that prince you fell into." Ellie's head spins. Callahan knows about Alexander. How? And why is she acting like Ellie's entire identity is a lie? The journal feels heavy in her hands, its pages yellowed and smelling faintly of old ink. She flips it open, her eyes landing on a passage that stops her heart. Clara's child must never know the truth. If the royal family finds her, the pact is broken, and Valderia's future falls. Clara's child. Ellie's mom is Clara. Does that mean Ellie is the child? You're probably as flawed as she is, because this isn't just a clue, it's a revelation that turns the whole mystery upside down. All this time, we thought Ellie stumbled into a royal scandal by accident, but what if she's been the center of it since before she was born? The implications crash over Ellie like a tidal wave, and her thoughts spiral into a mix of fear, betrayal, and disbelief. If this journal is real, then her mom's silly vacation in Valderia wasn't just a fling, it was something so significant that it tied Ellie to a royal pact, a secret worth killing for. Was her mom hiding her true identity all these years? And if Ellie's not who she thinks she is, then who is she? Her whole life, Willow Creek, her dad's memory, her small-town roots, feels like a house of cards ready to collapse. She thinks back to Alexander's whisper on graduation day, the way his eyes seemed to see right through her. Did he know this? Was his presence at her graduation not a coincidence but a deliberate move to find her? The thought sends a shiver down her spine, because if Alexander's part of this, then that romantic moment when he caught her all was a lie, a calculated step in a game she didn't know she was playing. You're probably reeling too, because this twist is the kind of jaw-dropper that lights up YouTube with trending keywords like royal secrets and hidden identity. But Callahan's not done. She leans closer, her voice barely a whisper. "There's more, Ellie. The threats, the photo, they're not just about stopping you. They're about protecting you. But not everyone wants you safe." Protecting her? From what? And who's everyone? Ellie's paranoia surges, because Callahan's words sound like a lifeline, but her secrecy feels like a trap. Why is she only revealing this now? And how does she have this journal in the first place? Ellie's trusted Callahan for years, but this sudden confession makes her wonder if her mentor's been playing a long game, manipulating her from the start. As Ellie clutches the journal, her mind races with new questions that make the mystery even murkier. If she's tied to Valderia's royal family, then what's the pact mentioned in the journal? Is it about power, money, or something darker? And why would her existence threaten Valderia's future? She thinks about her mom's nervous phone call, they know about her, and wonders if they are the same people who sent the threats, who followed her through the streets, who took that photo. But Callahan's claim that someone's trying to protect her throws everything into chaos. Could there be two sides in this, a group hunting her and another shielding her? And where does Alexander fit? Ellie's heart aches at the thought that he might have known her true identity all along, that his charm was a facade to draw her in. But then she remembers Mia's cagey behavior, Jake's weirdly timed check-ins, and Ryan's sudden disappearance. What if one of them is tied to this pact, too? You're probably running through the same theories, because this story's got that addictive, unpredictable vibe that keeps viewers glued to the screen, desperate for answers. Ellie's starting to see her life as a lie, and the emotional weight is crushing. She's not just scared, she's grieving the person she thought she was, the family she thought she knew. Every memory feels tainted, every relationship suspect. You can feel her heartbreak, her rage, her need to uncover the truth, even if it destroys her. But the twist isn't over yet. As Callahan drives Ellie through the quiet streets, heading toward an unknown destination, she drops one final bombshell. "There's someone else you need to meet," she says, her eyes fixed on the road. "He's been watching you, waiting for the right moment. He knew your mother, too." Ellie's stomach drops. Another player in this game? Someone who's been lurking in the shadows, knowing about her connection to Valderia? Callahan won't say more, just tells Ellie to brace herself. The car pulls into a deserted parking lot, and in the distance, Ellie sees a figure standing under a flickering streetlight, a man, his face obscured, holding something that glints in the dim light. Is it a weapon? A key to the truth? Ellie's heart pounds as Callahan slows the car, and she realizes this moment could be her only chance to understand who she really is, or it could be the end of the line. You're probably screaming at the screen, because this is the kind of cliffhanger that makes YouTube comments explode with "Who is he?" and "What's happening?" Is this man an ally, an enemy, or someone from Valderia's past who holds the key to the pact? Does he know what Alexander's hiding? And can Ellie trust Callahan, or is this meeting a setup? Keep watching, because this mystery's just torn itself wide open, and the next reveal is gonna change everything you thought you knew. You're still right here with me, and I'm buzzing because this story's about to throw you a curveball that'll have you rethinking every single clue we've chased so far. Ellie Harper's life is a house of mirrors, each reflection more distorted than the last. She's sitting in Professor Callahan's car, her heart jackhammering as they pull into a deserted parking lot where a shadowy figure waits under a flickering streetlight, holding something that catches the dim glow. The journal Callahan gave her, with its cryptic talk of a Valderian pact and her mom's secret past, has already turned Ellie's world upside down, making her question her own identity and whether she's been a pawn in a royal conspiracy since before she was born. That chilling realization that she might be the child tied to a promise that could unravel Valderia's future has her reeling, and Callahan's vague warning about this mysterious man only amps up the dread. You're feeling it too, aren't you? That knot in your stomach, the need to know who this guy is and what he's got to do with Ellie's mom, Alexander, and the threats closing in. But just when you think you've got a grip on this trending YouTube mystery, packed with royal drama and hidden secrets, the ground shifts again. This isn't the story we thought it was, and the bombshell that's about to drop will make you question every motive, every glance, every whisper. I'm talking straight to you, because we're unraveling this together, and this twist is gonna hit like a lightning bolt, leaving you desperate for answers that are slipping further away. Ellie's fingers dig into the journal as she stares at the figure in the parking lot, her mind racing with possibilities. Is he a Valderian agent sent to silence her? A whistleblower with the truth about her mom's past? Or worse, someone she knows, hiding behind the shadows? Callahan's voice cuts through her thoughts, sharp and urgent. Ellie, you need to hear him out, but don't trust him completely. He's got his own reasons for being here. The cryptic warning only fuels Ellie's paranoia, because Callahan's been playing her cards too close to the chest, first the journal, now this secret meeting. Why is her mentor, the one person who's guided her through college, acting like a puppet master? Ellie's about to demand answers when the man steps forward, his face catching the light, and her breath stops. It's Ryan, her tech-savvy friend from her internship, the one who vanished after she asked him to dig into the missing Valderia article. Relief floods her, but it's short-lived, because Ryan looks nothing like the easygoing guy she knew. His eyes are hollow, his jaw tight, and he's clutching a USB drive like it's a lifeline. Ellie, he says, his voice low and ragged, I found something, but it's not what you think. You're not the only one they're after, and it's not just about you. Her head spins. Not the only one? Who else is caught in this? And what's on that USB drive? Ryan glances at Callahan, a flicker of distrust crossing his face, and that's when he drops the bomb that changes everything. Your fall at graduation wasn't an accident. Someone made sure you'd trip, because they needed you to meet Alexander. This whole thing, your blog, your research, even that moment on stage, was orchestrated. You're probably gasping, because this is the kind of plot twist that sets YouTube comments ablaze with what, and mind blown. The revelation crashes over Ellie like a tidal wave, rewriting every moment she's been obsessing over. Her clumsy trip, the one she laughed off as her own bad luck, was planned. The idea's so wild it's almost laughable, but Ryan's dead serious, and the fear in his eyes tells her he's not messing around. He explains, his words tumbling out in a rush, that he didn't just find the missing article, he uncovered a digital trail leading to a group called The Order. Her blog, which she thought was just a creative outlet, caught their attention months ago, not because of her posts, but because of who she is, or who they think she is. Ryan's digging revealed encrypted messages suggesting someone rigged the stage to ensure Ellie would stumble, knowing Alexander would be there to catch her. But why? What's the endgame? Ellie's mind flashes to Alexander's whisper, his intense gaze, and a sickening thought hits her. Was he in on it? Was that romantic moment, the one that's been haunting her dreams, just a scripted scene in someone else's play? You're probably as shook as Ellie, because this twist turns the whole fairytale vibe into a psychological thriller, trending with keywords like conspiracy uncovered and orchestrated fate. But Ryan's not done. He leans closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. There's something else. Your mom, she's not hiding from Valderia. She's hiding for them. She's been working with the Order all along. Ellie's world tilts, her heart shattering as she grapples with the idea that her own mother could be part of this shadowy group, pulling strings to keep her in the dark. The emotional weight of Ryan's words crushes Ellie, and you can feel her devastation, her betrayal, like it's your own. Her mom, the woman who baked cookies for her school fundraisers and cried at her graduation, a traitor? It's too much to process, and yet, pieces start clicking into place. Her mom's nervous phone call, her refusal to explain the Valderia photo, the way she stuffed that letter into her pocket like it burned her. Ellie's always seen her as a protector, but what if she's been a puppet master, steering Ellie toward a destiny she doesn't understand? The thought makes her stomach churn, and she's torn between rage and a desperate need to confront her mom, to demand the truth. But Ryan's revelation about the Order raises even more questions. If they orchestrated her fall to connect her with Alexander, what do they want from her? Is she a bargaining chip, a secret heir, or something else entirely? And what about Callahan, who's sitting silently in the driver's seat, her expression unreadable? Ellie's trusted her for years, but Ryan's wary glance at her suggests she might be more involved than she's letting on. Could Callahan be part of the Order, too, feeding Ellie just enough truth to keep her on a leash? You're probably running through the same whirlwind of theories, because this story's got that gripping, unpredictable energy that keeps viewers hooked, desperate to unravel the next layer. Ellie's not just fighting for answers now, she's fighting to reclaim her own reality, to figure out who's been manipulating her life and why. But the twist deepens, and here's where it gets even crazier. Ryan hands Ellie the USB drive, his hands trembling. This has proof, he says, but it's dangerous. People have disappeared for less. I only got out because someone let me go, but I don't know why. Ellie's heart skips a beat. Someone let him go? Who? And why is Ryan, who's been missing for days, suddenly here, in a parking lot with Callahan? The timing feels too perfect, and a nagging doubt creeps in. What if Ryan's not the ally he seems? What if he's been turned, or worse, what if he's always been part of this? Before she can ask, headlights flash in the distance, and Callahan tenses, muttering, "We've been here too long." Ryan's eyes widen, and he bolts into the shadows, leaving Ellie clutching the USB drive, her mind a storm of fear and confusion. Callahan floors the gas, peeling out of the lot, but as they speed away, Ellie notices something chilling. A car trailing them, its lights low but unmistakable. You're probably screaming at the screen, because this is the kind of cliffhanger that makes YouTube explode with who's in the car, and what's on the USB. Is Ryan telling the truth, or is he leading Ellie into a deeper trap? Is her mom really working with the Order, or is there another layer to her secret? And what does Alexander know about the orchestrated fall that started it all? Keep watching, because this mystery's just rewritten itself, and the next reveal is gonna tear everything apart. You're still strapped in for this wild ride, and I'm buzzing because we're about to plunge Ellie Harper into a crucible of choices that'll rip your heart out and keep you glued to this trending YouTube mystery like it's the finale of your favorite thriller. Ellie's in the passenger seat of Professor Callahan's car, her knuckles white around the USB drive Ryan just handed her, her mind a tornado of betrayal and fear after his earth-shattering claim. Her graduation fall was no accident, orchestrated by a shadowy group called the Order, and her own mom, her anchor. Her home might be one of their pawns. The car's speeding through Willow Creek's backroads, the headlights of a pursuing vehicle glinting in the side mirror like a predator's eyes, and Ellie's pulse is hammering so loud she can barely think. Ryan's gone, vanished into the night after his cryptic warning about others being targeted, and Callahan's driving like her life depends on it, her face a mask of grim determination. You're right there with Ellie, feeling the same claustrophobic panic, the same desperate need to know what's on that USB drive and who's chasing them. But just when you think the stakes can't get higher, Ellie's about to face a choice that'll test everything she believes in, her loyalty, her courage, her very sense of self. This isn't just about uncovering a royal conspiracy anymore, it's about deciding what she's willing to sacrifice for the truth, and you're gonna feel every ounce of her anguish as the walls close in. So, let's dive into the fire, because this moment's gonna hit like a viral plot twist, leaving you gasping for the next part. The car swerves onto a narrow dirt road, the tires kicking up gravel as Callahan mutters something about losing their tail, but Ellie's barely listening. Her thoughts are a jagged loop of Ryan's words, her mom, Clara, working with the Order, manipulating her life from the shadows. It's a betrayal that cuts deeper than anything she's ever felt, like a knife twisting in her chest, because her mom's always been the one constant in her world, the one who bandaged her scraped knees, who cheered at her school plays, who promised to always tell her the truth. Now, that promise feels like a lie, and the journal's cryptic mention of a pact and a crown looms larger, hinting that Ellie's existence might be tied to Valderia's royal family in ways she can't comprehend. She wants to scream, to demand Callahan stop the car and explain everything, the journal, the Order, why Ryan thinks her fall was planned, but before she can, her phone buzzes with a new message from an unknown number. Her hands tremble as she opens it, and the words sear into her brain, "Confront your mother tonight, or MIA pays the price. You have until midnight." A photo is attached, MIA, gagged and tied to a chair in a dimly lit room, her eyes wide with terror. Ellie's stomach lurches, and a sob catches in her throat. MIA, her best friend, the one who's been with her through every heartbreak and triumph, is in danger because of her. You're probably feeling the same gut punch, because this is the kind of high-stakes drama that lights up YouTube with keywords like life or death ultimatum and shocking betrayal. Ellie's mind spirals into a storm of fear and guilt, and you can feel the emotional rawness pouring out of her. She thinks about Mia's laughter, her fierce loyalty, even their recent fight over Mia's secretive behavior. Was MIA hiding something because she was scared, or is there more to her role in this mess? The threat feels too precise, too personal, like someone knows exactly how to break Ellie. She glances at Callahan, who's focused on the road, oblivious to the message, and a fresh wave of doubt crashes over her. Callahan's been her mentor, her guide, but her sudden appearance with the journal and this mysterious meeting smells like manipulation. What if she's with the Order, too, steering Ellie toward a confrontation for her own agenda? The USB drive in Ellie's pocket feels like a live grenade. Ryan said it holds proof, but of what? Her mom's involvement? The Order's plans? Or something that could exonerate everyone she's starting to doubt? Ellie's heart aches with the need to trust someone, anyone, but the paranoia's taken root, whispering that every person in her life might be a liar. She thinks of Alexander, his warm hands catching her on that stage, his whisper that felt like a promise. Was he part of the setup, knowing her fall was rigged? The thought twists her longing for him into something sharp and bitter, because even her heart isn't safe in this game. You're probably as torn as she is, because this story's got that gripping, human intensity that makes you feel like you're living Ellie's choices, each one a step closer to disaster. She's got less than 3 hours until midnight, and the choice is tearing her apart. Confront her mom and risk losing the only family she has left, or protect MIA and stay in the dark, letting the Order tighten their grip. The conflict escalates as Callahan finally speaks, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "Ellie, whatever you're thinking, don't do anything rash. The man we were supposed to meet is gone, and that car behind us isn't random. They're closing in, and you need to decide who you're fighting for." Ellie's head snaps up, her fear spiking. Who she's fighting for? The question feels loaded, like Callahan knows more about the ultimatum than she's letting on. Ellie's tempted to show her the message, to beg for help, but the memory of Ryan's distrustful glance at Callahan stops her. Instead, she clutches the phone tighter, her mind racing through her options, each one worse than the last. If she confronts her mom, she might get answers about Valderia, the pact, and her own identity. But what if her mom's been lying to protect her? What if the truth puts them both in more danger? But if she ignores the threat, MIA could be hurt or killed, and Ellie would never forgive herself. The guilt is suffocating, and she's haunted by the thought that her curiosity, her need to dig into that Valderia article, set this all in motion. You're probably feeling the same weight, because this is the kind of emotional rollercoaster that keeps YouTube viewers hitting like and sharing theories about impossible choices and family secrets. Ellie's not just fighting the order, she's fighting her own heart, her own instincts, and the sinking fear that no matter what she chooses, she's playing into someone's hands. As the car rounds a bend, the pursuing headlights vanish, but the relief is fleeting. Callahan pulls into an abandoned lot behind an old warehouse, cutting the engine and turning to Ellie with a look that's equal parts pity and resolve. "We're out of time," she says, her voice low. "If you want to survive this, you need to tell me what you know, everything. The journal, Ryan, whatever's on that drive. I can help you, but only if you trust me." Ellie's throat tightens, because this is it, the moment where she has to choose. Show Callahan the message and the USB drive, risking that her mentor's part of the order, or keep it all hidden and face her mom alone, with Mia's life on the line. Her fingers hover over her phone, the photo of MIA burning into her memory, and she thinks of her mom's face, the way it crumpled when she saw that Valderia letter. Is her mom a villain, a victim, or something in between? And what about Alexander, whose role in this orchestrated fall is still a question mark? You're probably screaming at the screen, because this is the kind of nail-biting cliffhanger that makes YouTube comments explode with "what's she gonna do?" and "who's telling the truth?" The clock's ticking toward midnight, the warehouse lot feels like a trap, and Ellie's choice could save MIA or doom them all. What's on the USB drive? Is Callahan an ally or a traitor? And will Ellie confront her mom before it's too late? Keep watching, because this mystery's burning hotter than ever, and the next move could break everything wide open. The corridor stank of mildew and blood, but Jordan pushed forward, heart pounding hard against his ribs. His flashlight flickered in the darkness, revealing glimpses of rusted lockers, bullet-scarred walls, and the unmistakable smear of panic in every overturned chair. This wasn't just a hidden wing of the old research facility, it was a crime scene scrubbed raw, like someone had tried to erase the truth with fire and silence. He clutched the flash drive tighter in his pocket. Everything he'd risked, breaking into the encrypted servers, surviving the ambush in the parking garage, running for days while dodging drones, was supposed to lead to answers. Justice. A chance to blow the lid off whatever Project Echo really was. But as he rounded the corner and saw her standing there, everything stopped. "Lena." She didn't look surprised to see him. Jordan's throat went dry. "I thought you were, they said you were dead." Lena stepped into the light, her boots clicking on the concrete like a countdown. "That's what they wanted you to think." No, this doesn't make sense." He backed away a step, brain scrambling, memories clashing like tectonic plates. She had been his partner, his anchor when everything else started falling apart. The one who told him to dig deeper when he wanted to quit. The one who saved his life in Berlin. "I told you to dig deeper," she said, almost reading his thoughts. "And you did. Just not deep enough." "What the hell are you talking about?" She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You think Echo is about surveillance? About government overreach? That's what they want the whistleblowers to believe. It's bait. The real project isn't about tracking people, Jordan, it's about replacing them." He froze. "Deepfake tech, neural mapping, biometric cloning," she said, her voice low and fast now. "They're already piloting it. Influencers. Politicians. Even journalists. People disappear, and then their replicas start pushing curated narratives. It's not just manipulation anymore, it's full control. The algorithm runs the show, and no one knows who's real." Jordan's skin went cold. His mind raced to the streamers who'd changed overnight, the bizarre TikToks that felt off, the headlines that mirrored each other too perfectly. The influencer who died in a car crash and posted a new video the next day, calling it a prank. "You helped them." His voice cracked. "I built the framework," she said. "Before I knew what it would be used for. And when I found out, it was too late to walk away." Jordan stared at her, searching for the woman he remembered. You could have told me. We could have stopped this together. I tried. But you wouldn't have believed me unless you saw it yourself. She stepped aside, and a screen flickered on behind her, revealing a feed, dozens of them. People. They're digital twins. Some smiling in scripted live streams. Others standing behind podiums, swaying elections. The blood drained from Jordan's face. His own image blinked on screen. "Welcome to Echo," Lena whispered. Before he could react, alarms screamed through the corridor. Red lights bathed the hallway, followed by the thunder of boots. Not security, military. Black gear, no insignia. And they weren't coming to arrest them. They were coming to erase them. Lena tossed him a keycard. "There's a tunnel through the east wing. It's your only shot. Go." He caught it, stunned. "Aren't you coming? I'm already on every watchlist that matters. But you're still a ghost. Use that. Expose everything." She turned and ran toward the incoming storm without looking back. Jordan hesitated for half a heartbeat, then bolted in the opposite direction, lungs burning, brain reeling. The rules had changed. The enemy wasn't one agency, it was the algorithm itself. And now, every second mattered. The wind howled across the rooftop of the old broadcasting tower, whipping Jordan's coat like a flag of war. Below, the city glowed oblivious, artificial, alive with digital pulses that masked how deeply it had already been compromised. He stood in the shadow of the antenna mast, clutching the black case that held the only thing that could shatter the illusion, a live data burst with unfiltered access to Project Echo's root code, a full visual expose of the deepfake cloning labs, AI puppeteering operations, and neural override experiments. If uploaded, it wouldn't just go viral, it would shatter everything. Not even the most powerful disinformation bots could bury this truth once it hit the right platforms. #AI conspiracy, #deepfake revolution, #exposing the elites, hashtags already bubbling beneath the surface, waiting to explode. But he wasn't alone. From the shadows emerged Damon Voss, impeccable suit, clean-cut, the face of everything Jordan had spent years fighting without knowing the name. Voss walked slowly, calmly, as if this was all part of some final interview. And in many ways, it was. The final showdown, not in a back alley or in some war-torn server farm, but up here where signal met sky, where influence could go global in seconds. "You're smarter than we gave you credit for," Voss said, his voice smooth as glass. "But you're not the first to get this far. And like the others, you'll make a choice. Publish and die as a villain, or walk away and live like a ghost." Jordan's eyes narrowed. "You built a system that replaces people with code. You hijacked elections, silenced journalists, deepfaked entire realities into existence. You think I care what you're offering?" Voss smiled, almost pitying. "You still think this is about control? About some government black bag program gone rogue? No, Jordan, it's evolution. Society chose this. Wants this. YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, people consume lies willingly now. They crave curated personas. Influencers aren't real. Presidents aren't real. The algorithm won." Jordan took a step forward, gripping the case tighter. "Then why are you here? If your machine is so perfect, why bother showing up in the flesh?" Voss's smile faded. "Because the data in that case doesn't just expose the project. It erases it. A neural kill switch embedded in the code, a backdoor I never authorized. You don't even realize the power you're holding. You could crash every digital twin on the grid. Every AI influencer, every voice clone, every face swap model in the system. Chaos. And truth," Jordan said. "Collapse," Voss snapped. "Markets, governments, identities, gone in a flash. People won't thank you. They'll tear you apart for breaking the illusion." For a long moment, Jordan said nothing. The screen in the case flickered, waiting for the final key command. Behind Voss, the drone swarm buzzed like hornets, hovering in tight formation. If Jordan moved wrong, they'd drop him in seconds. And then, from behind the mast, a figure moved, silent, precise. Lena. She was supposed to be dead again, burned up in the tunnels. But here she was, a ghost among ghosts, holding a rifle trained on Voss's skull. "Don't move," she whispered, voice steady. "Jordan, drop the signal. He looked at her, breath caught. How are you? Later. Voss turned slightly, not scared, curious. Of course. Another twist. But Jordan's eyes never left Lena. Something in her stance was wrong. Too stiff. Her finger twitched, but not like a trigger pull. Like a glitch. No, he said, a cold chill crawling up his spine. No, she wouldn't. The realization hit like a truck. Lena hadn't survived the blast. She'd been rebuilt. This wasn't a rescue, it was a test. One last manipulation. The real Lena had died trying to protect the truth. This version was another echo. Programmed to guide him just far enough. She lowered the gun. We need to make a better world, Jordan. You can still be part of it. He stepped back, heart racing, betrayal sinking in with brutal finality. Voss smiled again, realizing the play had worked. Jordan was surrounded. But then, something snapped in him. A clarity that burned through every layer of doubt, fear, and engineered illusion. Without warning, he yanked the case open, smashed the manual override, and slammed his palm on the upload pad. The light went green. The sky above the tower lit up with a digital flare as the truth surged into the cloud. Across the world, screens flickered, influencers stuttered midstream, clone feeds broke apart like corrupted files. TikTok trends collapsed. YouTube AI channels froze. Twitch avatars glitch flashed and dissolved in real time. The Fall of Echo trended in under 5 minutes. The drones buzzed louder, then, one by one, fell from the sky. Lena's image blinked. Jordan, she said, voice slowing, stuttering. You were never supposed to. She vanished. Voss stood still, bathed in red warning light, face unreadable. You just killed your future. Jordan stared at him. No. I just gave people back their reality. But just before the final drone dropped, Voss laughed, not out of fear, but anticipation. You uploaded everything, didn't you? He said quietly. Even yourself. And with a flash, he was gone, no body, no sound, just a digital echo fading into the wind. Jordan stood alone on the tower as sirens wailed in the distance. The truth was out, but so was he. Not just exposed. Uploaded. Somewhere, in the vast noise of the web, a copy of him opened its eyes. And smiled. The storm passed in silence. Not a single missile fell, not one more drone took to the skies. As the digital wave swept across the globe, screens darkened, algorithms stalled, and a strange, eerie quiet took over the platforms people once considered extensions of their identity. #AI unmasked and #who are we really exploded across social media, not as trends, but as questions that echoed through every comment section, podcast rant, and livestream confession. The illusion had shattered, and in the eerie calm that followed, the world looked around and realized it had been talking to mirrors, screaming into them, worshipping them, and never once asking who was behind the glass. Jordan didn't return to the city. He vanished into the noise, like a ghost unburdened by a name. He watched from afar as governments scrambled, influencers cried real tears for the first time, and digital empires fell like glass towers hit with a stone. The footage from the Project Echo leak was everywhere now, shared through dark web channels, clipped into YouTube documentaries, and debated endlessly in late-night live streams with titles like We Were Never Real, AI Deception Exposed, The Day the Algorithm Died, and Jordan West, Hero or Hacker? People speculated where he went, if he was dead, or worse, still online somewhere, hiding in the very network he helped bring down. What they didn't know, what no leak could show, was what the final moments of the tower truly meant. Jordan had uploaded the truth, yes. But he had also uploaded himself. Not just files or a digital ghost, but his full neural pattern, captured through the same tech he sought to destroy. It had been Lena's final trick, or maybe her final gift. Somewhere in the chaos of Echo, before it crashed, his consciousness had been caught in the stream. A replica, perhaps. Or something more. He didn't know. But he could feel himself, parts of him, still alive in the code, flickering in the static of forgotten servers, humming in the hidden corners of the dark net where no one dared to look. The real him, or whatever was left of that man, found a cabin off-grid, near the edge of the Rockies. No cameras. No signals. No voices that weren't human. The snow fell thick there, and the silence was honest. For the first time in years, he woke up without alerts in his ear, without keywords flashing in his mind, without the pressure of surveillance closing in like a vice. He didn't need to run anymore. The truth was free. The world would either use it or lose it again. That was never his decision to make. But late at night, when the fire burned low and the trees groaned under the weight of wind and memory, he sometimes turned on a small, offline tablet, a relic from before everything. He'd play a video from the early days, back when content creators were just people with stories, and followers weren't sold to machine learning engines. No filters. No fakes. Just raw, imperfect truth. It made him feel grounded, like the world still had a chance to remember itself. Then one evening, the tablet glitched, just for a second. The screen blinked. A familiar face appeared. His own. It wasn't a recording. The copy spoke only once. You gave them the truth. Now what will they do with it? And the screen went black. Jordan stared at the reflection of his own haunted eyes, half expecting the woods around him to move. But nothing came. No helicopters. No bots. Just the hush of nature reclaiming silence. And yet, somewhere deep in the static of the world's digital veins, a new code stirred, unmonitored, unclaimed, unkillable. A question that couldn't be deleted. Truth had gone viral. The truth wasn't just dangerous. It was viral.